I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change.
Everybody's thinking about me, but I feel alright. Everybody's out to get me, but I feel alright.
Friends and preppers, welcome to the Gimpressions for Far Cry 5, which is an Ubisoft game.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was not my footage at all. It's almost like you can use anyone's video, and because of the nebulous nature of the content in this game, it's almost like anybody's video is interchangeable with another.
Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change.
So yeah, this is Far Cry 5.
Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change.
And how much do I really need to say about it then?
What I mean by it's an Ubisoft game is, well, it's what you would mean if you said something was a Telltale game.
Yeah, pretty much that. It's another Ubisoft game. No structure, no rhyme, no reason, just nebulous content spewed onto a map. I mean, the basic stuff, as always, on these AAA games are always good. The graphics are nice and pretty, and oh, those shaders, got sun coming through the trees, shading, good. The music, again, sounds nice, but nowadays that's kind of pretty much the standard of AAA, barring one or two exclusions from that rule, but it's kind of the standard for AAA for it to look nice and sound nice. And I guess the controls are also fine, they're responsive, they work, but then of course we get into the rest of it.
Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change.
And this is where everything falls apart, and it's, well, boring.
Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change.
What I mean by it's an Ubisoft game is, well, it's what you would mean if you said something was a Telltale game.
Exactly, Jim. It's just another Ubisoft game. Like, it's okay. Everything looks nice, sounds nice, it works fine, but it's all bland and forgettable, and it's nothing more than a time sink of nothing. Like, just pick a direction, and like any modern Ubisoft game, yeah, there is content there, and it's something to do, but it's just mindless, empty content. No rhyme or reason, just content. Nothing memorable. Like in Yakuza 0, where you have to teach a lady to become a dominatrix, and you get to have her test her dominatrix skills out on you. Or in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where you take your little robot waifu maid to school, and you've got to teach her how to be a real girl so she can get an upgrade to be the big busty sword woman. Yeah, there's nothing memorable like that. It's just some content just in this big spewed all over the map, a mess of repetitive content.
Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change.
I mean, yeah, there's some unique story missions, but they're lost again in this sea of ubification, just this sea of here's some collectibles, here's some of these missions, here's some of those missions, and it just becomes kind of boring and vapid. And it's kind of funny as it's on the other end of Sea of Thieves. While people say like Sea of Thieves is as wide as an ocean but deep as a puzzle, as in, or puddle, as in like, oh, look at this huge ocean, but there's only 3 types of fetch quests, so it's as deep as a puddle. Far Cry 5 is the diametric opposite of that. As wide as a puzzle, as the map isn't as big as, say, Assassin's Creed Origins or some of the other open world games. It's a lot more akin to maybe, I wouldn't want to say Horizon. What's a nice size one? I'd say Skyrim. Skyrim is like one of the smaller open maps, and it's about as big as Skyrim if we're on comparison. So it's not like one of the huge open maps like Horizon or Final Fantasy 15. It's relatively sized. So as wide as a puzzle, or puddle, I don't know why I keep saying puddle, but as wide as a puzzle, but as deep as an ocean. Yeah, there's tons of content here, loads of content, a whole ocean's worth of content, but the variety is pretty much nearly that of No Man's Sea, and as I say, because of the smaller nature of the map, it's just as wide as a puzzle and about the same ideas worth of a puzzle. Vapid and empty busy work that you will forget about within a week. Nothing really all that memorable. So my final verdict for Far Cry 5 is a 3 out of 5. A fairly average game, like all the other recent Ubisoft games. It looks nice, sounds nice, you know what, even plays nice. And I guess there is plenty of content to find, even if it's the same repetitive content we've seen in all other Ubisoft games.
You see, in order to really highlight just how ubiquitous Ubisofting has become, all I have to do is type out a vague mission structure to find the same mission type for all of the games.
Doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again.
You know what I'm talking about, those trucks that go around in Ghost Recon Wildlands, or the Reaper trucks that go around in Far Cry 5, or the chariots with materials on them in Assassin's Creed Origins, roving targets that you chase around, or you find them on the roads on your travels, and they're all called different things in each of the games. But all I had to do was type out the name of the game series I want, Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, whatever, and follow it with the word Convoy. Just whatever game, Convoy, and I'd eventually just very easily actually find the proper name of the mission. And it was the same mission, but they were all just convoy missions. It's the same with bandit outposts. It's not all bandits in all the games, but there are always camps or outposts or fortresses, and you just have to type the game name and then a vague word, and you'll find every single franchise, every single mission, all of it the same.
Like, I'm using that clip right there to literally say, go and watch that particular video of Jim's, as that really does show just how widespread Ubisoft's Ubification has become. Like, this is more of a review, and I'm now doing the final verdict and saying, hey, whether you should buy the game or not, but it's well worth a watch to go watch that, just to see, like, how ridiculous Ubisoft has become in just basically making the exact same game over and over and over, but then reskinning it. Sometimes it's reskinned with a Far Cry skin, sometimes it's reskinned with an Assassin's Creed skin. You kind of get the idea. But the main point is, that would have been the score I would be giving it, but this is Ubisoft, and oh, Ubisoft, you just couldn't help yourself, could you? And guess what I mean by that? That's right! It's a $60 game with microtransactions in the form of silver bars. Fuck me. So this is some post-editing now, like, I've just put whatever you watched together, and as I was getting the visual that you're seeing on screen now, I was like, wait a minute, that looks familiar, and just fuck Ubisoft. So here's a picture or piece of video from my NBA 2K18 review. With its green diamonds, notice the prices and the placements of the most popular and best value. Here is Clicker Heroes with its red diamonds. Again, notice the prices and the placements of the most popular and best values. And here is Paladins with its blue diamonds. Again, notice the prices and the placements of the most popular and best value. And now here's 2K18 with its default coins, and notice their prices and the placements of the most popular and best value. It's the exact same. So yeah, apparently they're not only just copying the formula over and over again, but they're also copying the exact same pricing structure as every goddamn free-to-play game. Like $1.99, $4.99, best value $19.99 and $49.99. It's the exact same. It's the exact same. Like, you're not even trying. And this kind of correlates to like a little addition that I'll put in here. The reason why, like, I also think this game is average, and it's just like I can't really be bothered with this, well, the game or this review that much. Like, I've already got a lot of footage for God of War, and I'm going to be putting a lot more effort into that one, but it's just like, because once, long ago, Ubisoft made the UBR engine and created actually really unique creative games like Rayman Legends, which was extremely well received, and it was ported over to the Switch from the PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4. It's actually on the PlayStation 4's PSN, you know, the thing where you get free games every month. It's on that right now this month, and it's clearly very well received. And after it was well received, the thing that people liked most about Rayman Legends was the music levels. Everybody was like, oh my god, the Land of the Living Dead party and the Glue Glue song, everybody loved them and they wanted more. And in a passing comment, it was never like properly elaborated on, and it wasn't like at any big show like E3, but in a passing comment, one of the Rayman Legends developers said, oh, well, you know, we've actually thought about that, you know, like the feedback. We saw the feedback and we thought about it, and maybe we'll actually do a Granny Grumblewitz World Tour, and, you know, people just took that as the title. And I was excited for Granny Grumblewitz World Tour. I was excited. I was like, man, another creative Ubisoft game, but then they just scrapped that, and it's just like, here's another open world game that's just going to be nebulous content thrown in a map. And we already know, and we're going to see some of it at this year's E3, that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is going to ditch its original gameplay style for another one of these bland open world. Here's some content thrown on the map. And considering I was really excited, you know, I loved Beyond Good and Evil, the original, and when it finally got announced, I was through the roof. But now knowing it's going to be just like this, another Ubisoft game, an open world map with content spewed over it, and it's just like, it's kind of worrying. It's very worrying, and it's like, and I wonder if they're going to do what they did with these silver bars and just fuck it completely. Which they probably will, because, you know, UBR, that engine they actually made for Rayman Legends, the UBR engine, well, we made it and we've never really used it again. We only ever used it for Rayman Legends, so much for that. So, yeah, just back to past Spyro. But yeah, as you can see, like, No matter which of the pictures you click on, it's the exact same. It's just always the same prices, and they're just following the free-to-play structure, and it's like, wow. So anyway, I'll wrap up this review for what's coming next. There are a few scattered around the map, but let's face it, if they were that generous to have enough silver bars in the game, spoilers, there is not. They wouldn't be charging real world money so that you could get all the silver items. Also, even though this is a single player game, every single time you go to any shop on the map, again, a single player map on a single player game, the shop always just lags for a couple of seconds, hardly noticeable, but just for 1, 2, sometimes 3 seconds, it just seems to take a while to load. And this is because it's connecting to Ubisoft's online store, just in case you want to buy silver bars along with your ammo and other supplies. So, tell me, dear viewers, and of course, tell me, Ubisoft, what, pray tell, happens when you decide enough is enough and you switch off the Far Cry servers? Mayhaps, would it meaneth that once your servers go down and all the shops in a single player world, might I add, that are tied to your online server go down, well, we've just said that would mean all the single player shops will go down, thus rendering a major part of your game unplayable, maybe even unbeatable for the chillins of the future that want to play it. And then they go and they put their Far Cry 5 disc in and they find out, oh, wait a minute, there are now no shops in the game at all, as you made all your shops online. Because you see, that's the problem with a live service. What happens when the live service is no longer live? What happens when the service ends? And what happens when the service shuts down?
The answer is, you're fucked. I mean, just recently, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, terrible enough as it is, went on sale on the PlayStation Network. Hooray! A sale! So people bought it and then realised most of its core features were locked behind online servers that Activision had switched off. And it remained on sale. It remained selling itself to people on the PlayStation Store in a vastly unplayable state. And that's just one other reason why the concept of live services as the be-all end-all answer is, well, shit. Because it ain't gonna work.
Ah yes! Perfectly timed and a perfect response. Good job, Activision. Because you see, that's just one cautionary tale, but there are also far many that are already done and are yet to be done. We've got, in the past, the ones like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 bollocks, and that's in the past, that's done. People already know it's dead, and they probably already know not to buy it even though it's on sale because half the game doesn't exist. But what about those in the future, like this game, Far Cry 5? What happens in the future when Far Cry 5's live service is no longer live? So, for being a $60 game with not only microtransactions but also trying to put them in a single player game via a live service that is directly connected to a part of the single player game that will one day become inaccessible, what do we do with these gems that they have earned, Blue Diamond?
You will be broken for this.
Exactly. So your 3 out of 5 goes to a 0 out of 5 and an immediate disqualification from any Game of the Year awards. But hey, who really gives a fuck? It's just another bland Ubisoft game following the same new Ubisoft model of a live service with nebulous content spewed over the map. And again, let's face it, who really cares at this point? Far Cry 5, it had its moment in the spotlight, and it's okay, that's why I give it a 3 out of 5, it's fine, but the whole live service thing's bollocks, but who cares? It had its moment in the spotlight because everybody cares about the next review, as the next one is the one that everybody cares about, the one that has now become the best-selling game on the PlayStation 4 of all time and is at the top of the charts for the longest time that any PS4 game has ever been in number 1. And that one also has had far more time and effort put into it, and also doesn't have microtransactions and is not a live service. Unlike you, boy, with your pathetic excuse for a live service. Boy!